Last 2 games has been good. We put the ball in her hands. I thought her defence obviously went to a different level too in both games. We need that for 40 minutes now. But Stewie, her ability to get to the rim and get to the foul line has been great for us. So we need that aggressiveness to speak. And then it's the finish or fine. With how teams want to defend her as we move forward.
And does it make you guys more dangerous that there isn't much film of this team actually being together, healthy? That
we got one game. Go back to that and see what you like. We haven't had Emma though, so
right.
Yeah, we haven't got 0 games.
But for the playoffs, whoever you play can't go back. When we played you, we can do this because you're not the same team as.
100%, and that's the luxury that we have. We see that, we're built around our, JJ, Sabrina, Stewie, and the players that complement them. But we haven't had them. We've had them for 11 games. Well, 11-0. So we lean into that because they have chemistry, and you add Leo in there. She's had 2 years of chemistry too. I think Tash has worked it out and all that kind of go. Now it's how we fit it. Teams haven't seen us like this. So that's why I said I don't think anyone wants to play us in the playoffs because they haven't seen us at our full strength, and that's how we should be judged by. So our full strength, and let's see what we got.
A couple of rough games for JJ, obviously foul trouble last game and coming back from illness a little bit before that. Where is she at just physically and also mentally? Is that more on her, these struggles?
She's been great. Look, I think mentally, she's so engaged. She kind of knows, the fouls that took her out of rhythm. She was a bit sick in those other games here, and she knows she has to be better for us to win. So she takes ownership on that herself. That's what you love about your great players. They got to look at themselves and not point the finger at anyone else. Okay, I need to be better. And she will be. We have total faith. I believe in JJ. She's a beast in there, and we need JJ to be JJ for us as we move forward.
On Friday, we saw a lot of offensive action from Leo and Kennedy.
Yes.
What kind of went into that game in your plan of what you need to work on to see more from them?
Yeah. Well, we've been pretty intentional how we do things. We think Leo. We've been telling Leo she needs to be more aggressive, and she hasn't. These last 10 games, I think, before the last game, she only had double figures, 2 of 10. But we're 11-2 when she scores in double figures, 11-1. So you realise the importance there. So we actually have to put her in the action. Sometimes she just stands in the corner too much. So for me, I was just more intentionally putting her in the action early. And it's her doing rest. We can't make her, wanted to shoot it, but I think we've been 2 ships in an ocean just on our weak side action, okay, just stop. If you can get the ball and stop and hold it. We got rejects, we got better screening, we have more spacing because of where the catches are, and putting Leo in that. But it's also KB too. I think KB's probably our most dominant downhill player that we have. So we try and put her in those spots where we can.
I was just actually asking Leo about some of that aggressiveness and her being such an unselfish player in a free-flowing offense.
Which you love, but still sometimes, let's go.
Yeah, especially when you're not scheming as many individual plays, when it is such a free-flow situation out there. How do you get a player that might be unselfish, especially when she's sharing the court with a bunch of future Hall of Famers?
We just have to remind her. We just have to remind her. Especially we had all these players out. And she didn't, but she still you gotta be aggressive because we're down. When you're down Sabrina, it affects us because Sabrina, why she's so great? She has gravitational pull in playmaking, but we take her out. That kind of limits that. And now they can shrink off some of our non-shooters, and it becomes like a Golden State congestion. So we need to shoot when they're open. I think sometimes they're going under screens and we're just playing the action and not playing the defense. So it's about slowing down, and then, it's like Tash, slowing down, they go under, setting a good rescreen to allow her to get downhill to create for herself or for someone else. So it's being a little bit more intentional on who's in the action and where we want. It's a mindset. They've got to read it too. You can't, we like the movement. Why do we like the movement? Because we're not a one-on-one team. We don't have players that can break anyone down. KB maybe, that would be about it, with a little bit of flow, you know what I mean, and Stewie when she's getting downhill, but we got to create the space as well too. But I think it's just reminding them what they need to help us win, and our strength is all of our players. It's not JJ, Stewie and Sabrina, it's everybody. It's, Leo doing her job, Tash doing her job with what it is, and it may change from game to game with how they play us.
Do you feel like the team's gotten better at responding to, when teams go under on Tash, not just letting that kick kill kind of the possession.
Yeah, I think we can get better. It's been really frustrating. I think everyone knows they're going under. Why do we screen and not hit? Just slow it down. And it's tough too. She's got to slow down and where she can re-space to get a flatter angle or diversity in our screening, not just setting one way, like, her pinching it, set up moves, and that's stuff we just keep getting better. And we've worked a lot on that. I think, Zach leads all our processes here. I think we've done a good job of, especially of our off-ball action, because they're all in different spots, how do we get the best out of it?
And then with Stewie's and just all the inverted actions in Seattle, how do you get to a place where, like, they're constantly, I guess, coming in flow, and it's not just like eyeball screen, everybody kind of stagnant.
Yeah, and we don't want that. I don't think that's very attractive anyway, how we play. It's just when Stewie's coming out having a small package of what's good for her. We put her in some rip screens on the side, you saw that. We put her in some stagger screens and the right person coming back to screen. Not always we like little guards screening her. So it's just getting comfortable with that. The hardest part for us, we just have so many people in and out, and we have very limited practice time. So they learn by doing a little bit more, and we see success, and that helps us too. Okay, that was good. That's what we want. We want, she's a great handler, but I think we're finally finding ways to get her open. Not just her, but her creating of passes to short rolls. Beck got one, Tash got one. Obviously, Leo was in a lot of them too.
Sandy, I have a scheduling question. A colleague of mine is writing a story on the schedule and is going to try to, if possible, talk to a WNBA scheduler. So what I wanted to know is, what was the impact of having that 8-game homestand? And if there was a point where, getting to stay at home for so long is nice, but then maybe there was catch-up later with the road trips.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good point. I've never had an 8-game home stand, and it has its pros and cons and everything. It's something that means you're going to go out on the road at some stage. It was good if you're winning. It's not so good if you're losing. You need to get away and kind of get a reset on the road and find, you're together all the time on the road, aren't you? I mean, for me, I don't like it like that, to be quite honest. I like a little bit of balance. I like when we go out on a trip, not just doing ones and coming back, especially in New York. I like to go out and not stay out for 2 weeks, but let's get 3 games in, because, it's just the travel for us, especially if you go into Dallas and then you come back like we did. Like, okay, that's kind of a longer trip. Why wouldn't we go to Phoenix and then play and then come back? And I know it's availability and all that, but the schedule, it's just tough. I mean, it's more the cadence between the games. That's probably the hardest thing. Thank you.
This trip, you had a day or 2 days between these games on the trip. How helpful was that for building, especially the defensive chemistry that we were seeing develop along the trip?
It's been good. We've been watching a lot of film. And we've been getting on the court too. We think, we're not where we need to be. We need to work. And I understand, like I said, I'm the most patient person out here in terms of it's hard when players are in and out, and you're trying to work it out, and their roles all shift. With what you envisioned in the beginning, they all shift, and but they're all great basketball players. It's just finding the chemistry with the group that you have, and so we utilised as much time as we could just to get better in the areas that we knew we were lacking. Now, obviously, the turnovers and the blocking out and the fouling, that's a discipline thing. That's a mindset for me. That's not we can practice verticality and all that, but we're like, okay, that's a discipline. Why are you fouling? We never want fouls like that. So, we got to control that as we move forward, because possession game really matters, because the finals becomes even more physical, doesn't it? You got to play to what the referees are going to allow. And who knows?
Everyone good?
I got one.
Yeah.
Hey, Sandy. Usually around this time of year, you guys are sort of starting to figure out what the playoff rotations are going to look like, what your 8 is going to be. It's been different for you guys because you're trying to sort of like build out various different lineups and combinations. Just how do you sort of strike that balance between ironing out details of what certain lineups are versus sort of building out what a playoff rotation would look like starting in game 1?
What a playoff what?
What a playoff rotation would look like for you guys?
Yeah, look, I think we this is the first time we've had our full group, so we're going to have to use these next 2 games for a part of the game. Not saying all of the game, because I don't want to overplay them in that. But it's just making them feel good, so we see their rotations too as coaches as well, because you know, we've had so many that every game, like I write down on my rotate, I'm like, oh my God, okay, here we go. We got some groups there I probably don't love, but we're going to give them. But all those experiences help as we move forward. You know, we shorten the rotations as we go forward too, but in a playoff game, it may change from game to game. You never know, because if we see something that's not working, we have to look, and that's the strength and the beauty of our bench, and they just have to stay ready.
Yeah, and to the scheduling point as well too, I saw a quote from Steve Kerr a while back on the men's side where he said that they don't really have practice days anymore because of the schedule. I guess as you've sort of been coaching for a while and seen the WNBA sort of evolve over time, just how have you sort of seen the amount of practice availability sort of like differ over time? And with the schedule being as tight as it is, how do you sort of make the most out of the few practice days you have?
Yeah, look, it's a learn. Like it's been interesting. This year's been way more difficult because we have a few new players, but then you still have to giving them rest, getting them off their legs, but still knowing, oh God, we're not where we need to be, and it only comes by doing. You know, the muscle memory out here. So I suppose in the start, like I used to give them a lot of shoot-arounds off, thinking, oh, we'll go NBA style, but I'm like, yeah, sometimes we just need that time just to work on certain things that we need, and maybe our process is good, but now maybe our half-court execution isn't there because we don't do a lot of scripting. We do a lot of more learn by doing, you know. So it's more like, well, this is the action. So I always say, yeah, the action works if you do the point of the contact action works. But if it's just fluff, then fucking none of it works, does it? So, you know, for me, it's just being, you know, the screen. You're talking about screening angles, who you're playing, how to screen, all that kind of stuff. So as it's gone on, I would imagine, especially after we started, especially when you start losing, it's not that how I react, it's more like, no, we need more time on the practice court. Remember, Talbot came late, Emma Messerman came late, and lately we've been on the court more than we've been off it. And they've responded well, and I think that, you know, you have to work out what's best for your team at that stage. Sometimes it is rest, you know, but because of our injuries, we needed more time together just to get, you know, chemistry with each other.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thanks, guys.